Hello and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the show where we talk about nerdy fiction and sometimes we consider our own autonomy or lack thereof. I'm not Murderbot, I'm Adam.
I'm Mike.
I am Sean.
We did a different rotation there. I wasn't ready for it.
I know, we're sitting in a different order. We've got like new mic arms here. We're all throwing off our game.
I just looked over at Sean and he was looking at me patiently with this magnanimous smile on his face like, you know what? I'm going to give this one to Mike today.
Yeah. And in the end, he kind of backed up the bus over you there.
How did I do? Like, I leapt into action. I mean, was it okay? Was it a bad delivery?
It was heroic. It was heroic.
Yeah. Just watch out, because you know Sean edits things in post.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's true.
I can make you look as bad as I want you to look.
Hi, I'm Mike.
If you
was small penis.
I don't remember saying
we agreed no
there
deep
it is
fakes.
on the podcast.
No deep fakes. Well, this got off the rails in all of 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I'll bring it back. So
very serious and intellectual from this point.
Honestly, yeah, we're only... No, what I actually meant was usually here, I just kind of preface with what we're talking about, what we're doing, but I'll get back in it. Okay, focus. Okay, so no, I'm just kidding. So we're talking about Martha Wells's All Systems Red, which is also known as the Murderbot Diaries. And if you've never listened to the podcast before, firstly, welcome. Nice to have you. You can find us on the photorealistic versions of us on BlueSky. If you've never seen us there, we're at Nerds of the Old Republic. And one of the other things we do is we enjoy like themed appetizers and or food and themed beverages. So we usually start with the beverage, and Mike was kind enough to pick the drink for All Systems Red. What do you have for us, Mike?
Yeah, so this shout out to Wegmans. That's where I went. They have a pretty good selection for a grocery store. But they didn't have much today that was looking too science fiction-y.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the one that sort of looks science fiction-y.
I get it.
And the people at Wegmans, by the way, are very helpful. Two different people approached me because they saw me looking at this beer and, hey, can I help you? Oh, that's a good one. And they raved about Prison City Brewing, which is who makes this. Apparently, it's become one of their personal favorites, both of them. So I was like, all right, must be a decent one. So it is Prison City Brewing, Auburn, New York, and it is called Turbo Phantom. And like I said, it has at least a science fiction-y designed can with like purple lasers and shit going on. And it is described as a hoppy lager. So
that Lawnmower Man virtual reality background look to it.
Would have been good for Tron.
Yeah. The label reminds me of... So I don't have any art skills, but what I would do in middle school is I would take a ruler and I would draw grids of different perspectives against each other. So this reminds me a lot of that. I had forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me that I had a childhood.
You unlock Adam's core memory.
That's right.
That was my real goal here this evening, Adam.
Well.
Nice. I do appreciate that this beer is front-wheel drive.
I think cool. It means forward.
We drink?
He's a one-trick pony. Here's what it says. I'm going to steal his shtick since we're changing everything up tonight. This beer was brewed in partnership with Forward, the new hop innovation program from Yakima Chief Hops and Yakima Chief Ranches. It features the experimental hop currently known as HBC 638, a product only available through this program.
Wow.
I also when I read that in the story, I also thought that seemed appropriate too.
It's perfect.
HC363.
Experimental hops.
I am Murderbot 638.
Job well done, Adam.
Thank you.
We're all taking Sean's shit here today. So.
It's a register I didn't know I had either. Yeah. All right, cheers, guys.
All right.
Ooh.
And
it's a good healthy open.
When I first saw it, I was like, oh, we bought another hoppy beer. But it's because one of us doesn't like hoppy beer. But it's a lager.
Yeah, it's described as a hoppy lager.
So it should split the middle ground. It should have some like hop nose. Okay, but it's only the nose.
Lagers.
I like lagers.
Who likes lagers?
Slanch it.
Here we go. That's exactly what it tastes like. It's like someone mixed a lager with an IPA.
Hop forward and then it disappears pretty quick.
Yeah.
Gonna make me hate lagers now.
This is why we can't have nice beers.
You don't think it's going to make you love IPAs
No,
now?
in all seriousness,
Right, couldn't it?
It's not bad.
No.
I'm not going to call it quaffable for my taste personally, but for a man who despises hops and thinks that it's pretentious to like hops, just kidding. I just don't like them personally, but I find this one is drinkable. It's not overbearing in the hoppy notes. I can definitely get that lager tone overall to the beer. So, yeah, it's a good drink.
You're not in pain. You're not suffering. You're just.
Well, I only had
thrilled.
a sip, so it's possible. Yeah,
Still coming.
you know me, I'm a completist still, so I will finish this motherfucker. So,
Yeah.
This is true.
Famously, dear listeners, we had a podcast early on in the series where Sean brought a local favorite, Mighty Taco, and we could not finish the night until all of the tacos were eaten.
that is correct.
That was a fine nerds moment. We all, for most of the episode, we assumed Sean was joking
Oh, no.
Yeah, no,
You'd never
he was
leave a man
serious.
behind.
until
Never.
he reappeared with a knife and literally cut the burrito and distributed it.
Yeah, and I ended up with way more than everyone. It was weird.
Well, was that
What are you
your
trying
house?
to do?
I mean,
Well, that's fair. All right. So we have gathered together to talk about All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is actually a book series that Mike introduced me to. And last year I read the first 3 in the series. And when we had talked about it last time, I was excited to go back because Apple TV has produced a TV series about it. They're either in production for season 2 or season 2 is coming out soon. So I thought this was a great time to revisit the series, and I'd love to get your just thoughts. Well, Mike, how did you find the series? Because you were the one. I don't think Sean has read it prior to this, right?
no, not until now.
Okay, so
It's going back years, so I just remember seeing it around. There was a fantasy author I remember. I'm blanking on his name as well as the series that he wrote. Patrick Rothfuss, I believe, was the author, and he wrote The Name of the Wind, which was the first book in, I think it's called the King Killer Chronicle.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So I had read the first book, and I liked the first book very much in that series. And I saw him somewhere. I don't remember if I was reading an interview with him or if I just saw it somewhere, but he was raving about not All Systems Red, about the Murderbot Diaries, and saying how it was one of the best things that he's ever read. Something like, again, I'm going back a couple years, so all of this is heavy paraphrasing, but it was high praise, and I had seen it pop up in 1 or 2 other places, and so I just checked it out for myself, and I was like, that sounds really interesting. So I read the first book and loved it. Sometime later, I read the second book and liked it. I didn't love it, but I still liked it very much. And I fully intended to go on and read the whole series. I just have not done it yet.
Well, so many books, so little time, right?
Exactly.
Right. So ostensibly, the book is, far future. We can't even say near future. Far future. Humanity has spread throughout the universe. We found many other planets. We're using other planets for whatever resources we can extract. Feels like pretty much what we would do.
Yeah.
And the premise is that one of these sec units has jailbroken his own system, and the governor module on him no longer works. So he sits and watches. He disassociates from his job as much as he can by watching serial soap operas, especially was it Sanctuary Moon?
Sanctuary
Is that
Moon,
right?
Yeah.
And immediately I felt a connection to this robot because, sometimes it's just hard to stay focused at work. I'm not protecting humans, but it feels connectable.
Yeah.
These are the touches that make this series great, is the way that, like you said, I mean, this thing is way more intelligent than the humans it works with. It is stronger than all of them. It could obliterate them in a second. And yet it achieves some level of free will and autonomy and chooses to use it to put itself into seclusion and watch TV. And that is so relatable. And it's one of the little touches. There's many of them, but that's one of the little touches that just elevates this from like if you just describe what this book is about, it just sounds like standard sci-fi, right?
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
That kind of thing that elevates this series and makes it very entertaining.
I really liked how Wells, like, you think when you hear of like Murderbot that it's a robot, it's 100% robot, but all the things we're talking about here, it's complicated because it's a cyborg. It's a human construct that's built from cloned whatever. And then it has, mechanical interfaces. He keeps talking about some of my wet parts versus some of my
which was gross at first.
Yeah, he's so matter of fact about it. I forget it has no gender, but it's extremely like matter of fact about all of it. And it chose the name Murderbot and stuff. And it's got like sardonic sense of humor and like you said, the disassociation from the job and wanting to just veg out and watch stuff and not give a shit about anything going on around it. I love how like that part of its human stuff is very prevalent. It was really a very cool character.
There's so many times in this book. It makes me chuckle every time. There's multiple times when he's narrating and he says something like, I didn't do it. It wasn't because blah blah blah. It was because I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Yep. And
it's like a nihilist.
Sometimes it's just like say Murderbot.
Right.
Yep.
It's just so disinterested. And he always refers to them as the humans I work with. And I'm like, oh, man, I love that.
I love how you can see he's like building like a relationship with them. Like, this is the human that I dislike the least. And so, like,
Well, I was going to bring that up. So, so much of like cyborg or like robot sci-fi is how inhumane it is or how unlike us it is. And I found this to be, like we were just saying, the opposite. Like, it's more honestly about itself than I am to myself a lot of times. And so much of it is him trying to find a connection, like trying to find a way to be comfortable around the humans and not connect with them. But in the end, he ends up connecting with them. Yeah. And like in the first, what is it, like maybe 30 or 40 pages when he saves... Was it Dr. Garanthan, the one who gets attacked by the slug on the planet?
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, I don't remember the names.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I don't know why it doesn't stick with me in this book.
All the humans blend together to me when I read.
Let's say that's by design by Martha Wells, and she achieved it perfectly.
Could be,
yeah. But he like carries the one back, and he's consoling the other one because he realizes they're in shock, and he's like, "Tell me about your children. How many children do you have?" And like. That's the thing that tips off, that first thing that tips off the augmented human that he's not, like there's something wrong with him.
But he even Murderbot explains that his protocol to do this, and you have to take your helmet off so they can see your face. So it's like, Murderbot has a human face, and it reminded me an awful lot of RoboCop. I don't know if you guys are getting that vibe too. Like Murphy,
kinda, which I love the hell out of RoboCop.
We
by the
should
way.
do a cast on that in the future. Hit us up on the socials if you want us to do RoboCop.
Yeah.
But how it's like it's Detective Murphy or Officer Murphy, but he is struggling with being a robot and his humanity, and eventually reclaiming the humanity as it goes. And Murderbot reminds me of that as being like this very much mechanical, logical, but also having that human side that's like becoming more to the forefront with that whatever that chip is what is it called again?
The governor module that he deactivated, or he jailbroke himself. He like cracked the code and opened up his own security protocols.
So deactivated the company's controls, but still does the work, kind of like subversively knowing that it can do whatever it wants, but getting paid.
So I'm having a tough time right now because I watched the Apple TV series, in fact, before you guys came. I didn't finish the whole thing. It follows the book pretty closely, but there are times, in fact, the last episode, it gets to the point in the book where they get to the other team's landing and finds out that the other sec units have been taking control. Yeah. But then it cuts to how Murderbots are made at the factory. And according to Apple, I don't know how closely Martha Wells worked with Apple on this, but there's like indentured servants working in the Murderbot factory, working off their time to get off planet or onto another planet. And they all, obviously they hate their job. They're working like extra overtime. And in the factory on Apple, all the Murderbots' faces look different. They like fabricate the skin and everything, but the heads are in buckets. And somebody asks like, why do they all look different? Like, why don't we just clone them all exactly the same? And the sarcastic answer back was, well, when one goes crazy, then we know which one it was. Which I guess is like, it makes logistical sense, but they don't go into that in the book whatsoever. So I'm just having trouble separating out like some of the ideas as they start to build that in.
I'm curious if that was designed for the TV show or if that comes into the series later on and they're, moving it up because it, explains more.
Yeah, that's a good question. Season 1 of Murderbot on Apple TV is strictly all systems red. Yeah. Season 2 is going to be whatever book 2 was. I can't
Artificial
Condition?
Condition.
Yeah, Artificial Condition. So it looks like, I don't know if they're going to do the whole series because there's quite a few books in the diaries, aren't there?
Pretty sure they're up to a pretty big number now, yeah.
So, it depends on how much Apple loves it and how much people watch it. But it's interesting to me in how they like stay true but also add some things. And I was considering that too because in the Apple TV series, they... how Murderbot alludes to him doing some bad stuff and how he's like, he earns the title Murderbot or whatever.
Right.
In the Apple TV series, he flashes back to like just murdering a bunch of humans in a hallway.
Yeah.
Is what you keep seeing over and over again. It's almost like the, Star Wars Murder of the Younglings where he's just blasting away.
Yeah. So
he confessed that at one point?
Yeah, I was going to say that is mentioned in the first book. He has vague recollections of it, but nothing like no context for it. And it's in the second book where he like goes back to what is that, a mining facility or something, right? And he uncovers that they intentionally corrupted him on purpose or something, and then they made it appear to him as if like he had done it so that he would live with the guilt of it or whatever. I keep saying
that's what I do.
I'm going to stop apologizing for that. But
well, and what doesn't help is Alexander Skarsgård plays Murderbot on the TV series. So like on Apple TV, they do make him genderless. There's one scene where he's like top bottom naked, but he's like Ken doll.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like he is acceptable for sure. I think they refer to him as a he in the book too anyways. I mean, they go back and forth. Yeah.
All right.
Because the alliance that he works for the mining system, they think he should be like a free human or a free construct to choose what he wants. So they gender him and make him like human and everything in their own mind. Do we want to talk about the plot and how it does or doesn't vary from other sci-fi versions of the future? Like, again, us just pillaging other planets.
Yeah. Nothing real revolutionary there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plot is not what makes this book interesting. The plot's fine. I'm not criticizing the plot. The plot's pretty stock sci-fi shit, but like it's just written with such a unique style. It's from the perspective of the robot, not a human who like works with the robot. So that's all different. And then the robot has, am I using the right word? Is it a robot? Is that the right word to use here? Cyborg?
I like cyborg. Well, I mean, if we're going to be nitpicky and be like, actually, it's probably, cyborg is probably the right one because he's got wet parts.
He, has such a personality and such a voice, and the book is written with such style. And that's what makes this great. Like that's what elevates a very standard sci-fi story to something much better.
I agree. And I think Wells's ability to give us the perspective of Murderbot, but then the human's perspectives of Murderbot around the periphery, you get a real great sense of like how like almost like pouty it comes across as someone who's standing in the corner and facing it. And see, I told you we didn't like that or whatever. And it's like, like those little like nuggets in there. That's it. It's pretty much part and parcel standard sci-fi, like you said, like the Avatar kind of like futuristic sort of thing. It's nothing like that we haven't seen, but that perspective and the way she writes it's very compelling and it's fun. It's like a serial. It's just bam, bam, bam. Yeah. I'm not getting super invested in something, and I feel like that's very refreshing that it was a super quick novella. Get in, get out of the story, move on to something else. It was really cool.
To the point you're making about the human's perception of him, there's a scene early in the book where he has his face mask off and he tries to give them like they invite him to stay And he's like, I must have fucking freaked them out with the face I made or whatever. So then he tries to give them a reassuring smile. And he's like, that one even worse. And then he goes back and he like hacks into the system and he watches them discuss his reaction. Oh, that shit was fucking, I mean, that was, I think, maybe the moment early in the book when I was like, I'm hooked.
Oh, yeah. His omniscient like surveillance of them and seeing and knowing everything. That was a great part of it because it's never done like he's this godlike, like figure in the background. It's more of like, what do they think of me?
Right. Yeah, he comes across as a little insecure, for sure.
It's another way he was like more human than the humans, to quote a decent 90s song. Rob Zombie?
White Zombie.
White Zombie.
More human
there we go.
human.
Thank you. Yeah. I totally was like, yeah, if I had control of all of the cam systems, I would absolutely watch how cringy that was over and over again and just make myself feel really bad about how I interacted with my coworkers.
It might come across as weird too, but I think one of the best parts is there is no like sexuality to the character at all. So it frees up all different like bandwidth for other things like that, like his coming to grips with actually liking the people that it's working with, and then what they think of him, and trying to manage that. And it's not, there's no relationship building like as far as I want to bang that one or whatever. Like that's not even a part of the equation. It's like that's another refreshing aspect. It doesn't always have to be reduced to our basic instincts and things like that.
It's sort of similar to and different from the character Data from Star Trek. Similar to in the way of what we've been discussing, like, his relationship with the humans, the way he's very human without necessarily realizing that he's human, but very different in the sense that Data wants nothing more than to be more human. Whereas this, character wants nothing more than to get the fuck away from all that and watch TV, which I think is just hilarious. It never stops being old.
I'll also remind you of the fact that Data is a fully functional android.
Yes.
And did have multiple relationships.
Yes, he did.
Show.
Yes, he did. Good for him. Good for Data.
That's another cast.
Maybe that's why we like the character so much, is because of that background of like our experience with other cybernetic organisms like that, and like how our expectations shift.
Right.
So almost like how George Martin and fantasy, how he completely changes the way we see that genre.
That's a good point.
Wells is doing something not quite so big, but something similar where we're seeing what we saw as like this is sci-fi. This is this is like the character from Alien that you don't know is a robot until the end when he's got his white guts hanging out or whatever. But it's like it's different because now we're getting that perspective, and the writing really kind of punches that up a notch.
Takes the archetype, does something faithful to it, but also tweaks it just a little bit in a refreshing way.
I love those tweaks.
Yeah,
not unlike a nipple tweak.
Another thing that she tweaked that I thought was really interesting is the way that the like systems interacted. So like Murderbot talks about Hub System, like Hub System was another character.
Another construct. Right?
Yeah, another construct. Like sometimes Hub Sys would like be annoying or like dumber than it.
Yeah.
And then in the end of the book, he talks about cargo ships, right? And how like cargo ships are really chatty because they don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
Isn't there an implication too that they have like a brain running them, like a human brain?
If not a human brain, like a neural system, like an AI that's got a personality. And you kind of know, like, the cargo ships are always this way, the Murderbots are this way, and the, like, sex systems are this way, which is interesting. Like, that was refreshing, too.
It's been a long time since I read the second book, but as I recall, he befriends one of those ships, right? And it starts out like
with
a
that
comically antagonistic relationship, and then they grow to become friends, like, as the book goes on.
Doesn't he like bribe the ship by giving it his full access to the shows that he had downloaded?
I don't remember. Did you read it?
At the end of
okay, I gotcha.
You get that.
I
That's exactly it, and it wants more.
Yeah,
I remember being antagonistic. The ship, as I recall, was like sarcastic and like very extroverted to the cyborgs, like very deadly serious introversion and all of that. I should reread that and go on and finish the series.
I don't know about the rest of the series, but I definitely know Artificial Condition was good. And I think that one thing that brought another level too for me is that I listened to the audiobooks. So like, I can read the sarcasm just fine, but the narrator was good enough in delivery that it was all deadpan. Skarsgård on the Apple TV show does a good job with it, but I think he sometimes emotes a little too much. It's hard to be like straight the whole time.
Is that the one that played Pennywise? That's Skarsgård or a different?
Ooh, let me look, because I'm really bad
so many of
with that. Yeah, there's like Skarsgård must be like the Smith of whatever.
It's the one from Shattered Glass.
If I'm not mistaken, in Hollywood, many of the Skarsgårds are a family, right? Aren't
Yes.
they like a father and several sons or something?
Let's
One of them was
see.
in the TV show Vikings.
So, just for full disclosure, the very first picture that shows up with him is he's in a tux top but no pants, and I'm
I love him already. Great.
Is he the True Blood one?
He was in the Northman.
Okay, so
He was in True Blood.
Excellent.
This one was
Okay.
in
my wife would love this then because
Yeah.
she had quite the crush on Eric the Vampire there, I think, during that show.
What We Do in the Shadows, Succession, Atlanta. He was in Atlanta. So that one, if that helps.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Burn the Nest.
yeah. But yeah, like that's the only thing. I thought he did a great job because, like, can you imagine just being like this emotive person as he seems to be wearing no pants right there? And then the director's like, okay, you have to stare dead eye into this person while you're naked right now. And all you want to do is watch your soap operas. And you're praying to God she goes away right now.
That's hilarious.
But you don't believe in God. Just keep saying you like that. That had to be an interesting directorial choice to make.
Did you ever see the behind the scenes from Terminator 2 when Robert Patrick discusses playing the T-1000?
Not off the top of my head, but I do love Terminator 2.
If you can find that on, we should do a cast on that. Hit us up if you want us to do a Terminator cast. Anyway, there was, I was about to do the thing.
Yeah, it's great.
There was, he was talking about, like, trying to find that balance between being, like, unhuman or inhuman and being, like, trying to fake that you're human. And the way he tried to pull that off and stuff. And it's like, wow, the craft that goes into that. And, like, Arnold did it to an extent, but I think, honestly, that he was the most successful out of all of them because there was that, have you seen this boy? You know, he comes across, but then you can almost see that veneer underneath, like, you know, it's not quite right. And he just pulls it off so well. And I imagine that, you know, Skarsgård trying to sell that same thing. Like, I'm not human, but I'm playing one, you know, like.
And there are times where it's really, really good. Like the scene where he's carrying the, I guess they're scientists, carrying the scientist away from the worm that just bit somebody. And like his face is not making any changes, but his voice is sort of making changes. So he's got to pretend to be carrying two humans, but he can't feel that that's any stress. And then he's like, so tell me about your children. But he's like less robotic than that, but he doesn't change the tone of his voice. Like it had to be really hard to do.
Good directing.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How well does the tone of the show match the tone of the book, in your opinion?
I would say that it does it pretty well. The humans come across, the only difference, I guess, is the humans come across as much more immediately likable and competent in the show than the book. In the book, they feel a little bit more amateurish to me until they start treating him as like a human instead of just a robot construct.
Okay.
Well, that's also a symptom of the book. It's it's Murderbot's perspective,
right?
But in the show, it's probably more of a third person.
That was going to be my
It
next
is a
question.
third person, yeah.
So he's a character in the show.
Yeah.
He's not telling the story.
Well, he does voiceover the whole time.
Okay.
So you do get like the visuals as a third person. There aren't many times where I don't think there are any times where it's just like you're looking through his eyes, but his voice is always there narrating. Like if the president of the mining or the data system or the planetary system says something, the immediate next thing is his voiceover in response to that, and then whatever he says comes out of Murderbot's mouth.
I got you. Okay.
So
it's always interesting to see like how you take a first person narrative and you adapt it to a film or a TV show. It's always got to be third person limited because there's no other way to really do it unless you want to put somebody. Right. I think they tried it once, right, to make it like you were in the movie kind of a thing. As
is it the movie You?
So was that like an action or something? And But it's never successful because the
That's
medium just doesn't work that way.
Sounds like a Charlie Kaufman experiment or
Oh
something.
my God! Yeah, and then you get punched out by Jimi Hendrix on the Tonight Show or something like that, or whatever happened.
Oh no, you might be thinking of Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry,
The film director, Charlie Kaufman.
you're right.
It's kind of like the Skarsgård. There's so many of them.
There's so many Kaufmans.
Was that the Andy Kaufman who pretended to be a wrestler as a comedian?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
I carried
I'm
a
with
movie
you.
on him at some point.
Yeah, Man in the Moon.
Yes.
Yep.
Great
That's a good
R.E.M.
movie.
song.
Man on
Yes.
the Moon.
That's right.
Yeah.
You goofing on Elvis?
No, there's nothing out there in space. Well, that's actually the best line I could have come back with, even though it's not the next line contiguously. So we're down to last impressions of Murderbot recommendations, and I'm a yes for both the TV show. One thing that I found refreshing about the TV show is that they're 29-minute episodes. So everything now, as much as I love like prestige drama, prestige TV, you got your 2-hour, 3-hour episodes. It was nice to just be like, okay, I've got 25 minutes. I can finish most of this episode. If I skip the intro, I can finish almost all the episode, but the last 2 minutes is fine. And the book was, like we said, it's really entertaining. I thought it took, tropes and adjusted them. It didn't like burn anything down. Memorable enough that, I can sit and laugh about some of the lines that Mike remembered. But I didn't feel like I needed to like learn a whole new setting or world in order to enjoy it. So I'm a yes for both.
That's a great point. That last point you made. There's no heavy lifting on your part for world building. It's just very digestible.
Yeah.
When I had read this, it was actually a palate cleanser for me. I felt like I was in a reading slump, and Mike had recommended it, and I thought it was perfect. And it kind of just like, sometimes you just don't like the stuff you pick to read, so you're like, nothing is good. This all sucks.
Right.
But it was perfect to like kickstart me back into reading.
And they're short and fast, so good beach read, good airplane read. I definitely recommend them. I did recommend them. So.
Yeah.
I've only read the first two, but I've always intended to go on and read some more.
All right. Well, that's 3 yeses from us.
Oh, I didn't give my official yes.
No, you already yesed.
I never yesed.
I'm sorry. We did jump you. See, the order's all screwed up.
I know.
Up is down, left and right, cats and dogs living together.
Man,
Anarchy.
now I'm going to give it a fucking no.
All right, fine. That's fine. You do you.
All right, no, in all seriousness, I read this. It took me a day and a half because I was just into it. And it's when you find a book that you get in the groove and you have the time, it's so refreshing. I'm in the midst of the Wheel of Time saga, and
God bless you.
my lord, we'll maybe someday talk about that. But I needed something to get me away from that for a little while, because it was that point where I'm like feeling like I'm going to work when I pick up those books, and it's like, okay, I need something refreshing. This was great. I fully intend to, once I'm done with Wheel of Time, to pick this up, and summertime should be a good time on the beach. Or,
So like a dozen years from now.
Yeah.
you guys know how I go.
That's
Honestly,
true. You've
you are the
actually read about
fastest
a half
reader.
dozen of them already. So.
I'm on the middle of book 8.
Oh my God! Yeah, you'll be done soon. There's 14, right?
I think 14 or 15, something like that.
And your biceps are massive from holding the books. You're swole, dude.
Yeah,
This is impressive.
That is the one side effect that I did not see coming.
8,000 pages. It's impressive.
Lord, my God! It's a hefty tome, but the whole thing. Yeah, but definitely a yes, absolutely, and I will check out the show too, for sure.
Yeah. Watch a couple episodes. There's, again, like the book, there's not much commitment. If you don't like it after 29 minutes, that's okay. Yeah. Move on. All right. Well, this is a rarity, actually, where we actually are all in agreement.
Yeah.
So that's your sign, people. We are going to see you next. I'm actually throwing off my game now because I'm not I feel like when I got off the cruise that we just went on, and my equilibrium was just thrown off for a little bit. Like I can't catch my feet underneath me again or something.
Your sea legs are like they change it.
Yeah.
Real quick, I will circle back to Turbo Phantom by who's this by?
Prison City.
Prison Sex? Prison City.
We've had Prison City a couple times, actually.
It's now that I've drank most of the beer, I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through it. I will maintain my earlier stance. I know I told you guys that maybe after a little while I wouldn't like it anymore. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't search it out. I wouldn't be like at a bar going like, give me a Turbo Phantom. But you know what? For the purposes of this cast, it suits me well.
Good.
Give me a turbo phantom. I just want to hear someone angrily shout those words.
And then the bartender look at you like, the fuck?
What, are you some kind of pervert? What is that fucking turbo phantom?
I feel like it's from a movie somewhere, isn't it?
Ask your grandma, it's under her bed.
Start the gas generator.
That's a pole start.
Yep. I was more of electric start guy myself.
Ooh, yeah,
But-
well, you know, convenience.
Thank you for staying with us, dear listener. We are going in a different direction with the next cast, or at least the next one we're recording tonight. Am I safe to announce the next one?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we want to
Yes, I agree
in that
with
order.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Earth, Wind, Fire. We go to the Shire next time with the Fellowship of the Ring. Ooh. We've done the Silmarillion. We've talked Rings of Power. Mm-hmm. It's about time we went to the next step. And god damn, am I looking forward to talking about that.
Yeah, that's going to be a big cast.
I am going to do one of these just for the sake that you mentioned one of the greatest things I've ever read in my life.
Which one was it?
Rings of Power, of course. No.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I knew which one it was. But until next time, then, nerds, cheers.
Cheers.
I'd say cheers, but I don't kill.